What do you get when you mix Jason Statham bees and a bunch of tech villains? A movie that will make you buzz with excitement. Is this movie a honey of a hit or a sting in the eye? Let's find out. The Beekeeper is a 2024 American action thriller film directed by David Ayer and written by Kurt Wimmer. The Beekeeper is kind of a love letter to the cheesy action movies of the 90s. It's got all the elements: over-the-top action, a tough-as-nails hero, and a plot that keeps you on the edge of your seat. The film kicks off with our main character, Adam Clay, played by Jason Statham. Adam's a pretty low-key guy living a quiet life as a beekeeper. He's got this arrangement where he lives in the garage of a schoolteacher named Eloise Parker. They lead simple lives, minding their own business, until one day, everything changes. Eloise falls victim to a nasty phishing scam and loses over $2 million. The worst part? Most of that money wasn't even hers. It belonged to a charity organization she was managing. The loss is too much for Eloise to bear, and tragically, she takes her own life. After Eloise's death, things start to get complicated for Adam. He gets arrested by an FBI agent named Verona Parker, who happens to be Eloise's daughter. But when they figure out that Eloise's death was a suicide, they let Adam go. But Adam isn't the type to let things slide. He wants justice for Eloise. So he reaches out to the Beekeepers, a mysterious organization he used to be a part of. With their help, he tracks down the scammers. They're working out of a call center called UDG, run by a guy named Mickey Garnett. Adam decides to take matters into his own hands. He storms the UDG building, scares off all the employees, takes down a bunch of Garnett's men, and blows the whole place up. But that's just the beginning. Garnett's boss, a tech executive named Derek Danforth, isn't too happy about this. He sends Garnett to kill Adam, but Adam's ready for them. He takes out all of Garnett's thugs, spares Garnett but cuts off his fingers, and sends a clear message to Derek. He's next. The rest of the movie follows Adam's relentless pursuit of justice. It's a brutal campaign of vengeance that takes on national stakes when it's revealed that Adam used to be an operative of the Beekeepers, a powerful and clandestine organization. Throughout the film, you'll notice a lot of similarities with the John Wick movies. There's the secret society, the intense action scenes, and the whole retired killer seeking revenge storyline. But The Beekeeper also has its own unique spin on the genre. Let's talk about the characters. First off, we've got our main man, Adam Clay, played by none other than Jason Statham. Adam's just your average beekeeper, living a quiet life and minding his own beeswax. But don't let that fool you. Underneath that calm exterior is a dude with a mysterious past and some serious skills. Statham is just doing his thing, being all cool and tough, and he totally nails it. He's got this knack for playing characters that are both aloof and engaging, and he brings that to the table in The Beekeeper. When he talks about Eloise, you can really feel the emotion in his performance. He does a good job in this movie, balancing Adam's peaceful life with his lethal abilities. He makes you believe in Adam's journey from a simple beekeeper to a vengeful operative. If you are enjoying this film review, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Next up is Eloise Parker, a retired schoolteacher played by Felicia Rashad. She's got this close bond with Adam, and her character really adds a lot of depth to the story. Even though she's not in the movie for long, Rashad really leaves a mark with her performance. She brings a lot of depth to her character, and you can really feel the impact of her loss on Adam. Her performance is powerful and leaves a lasting impression. Then there's Verona Parker, Eloise's daughter, who's an FBI agent. She's played by Emmy Raver-Lampman. Her character adds another layer of complexity to the plot, but I feel like her portrayal could have been a bit more convincing. On the villain side, we've got Mickey Garnett, who runs the scamming call center. His character is the face of the scam that drives the plot. He's the guy you love to hate, and his actions really get the ball rolling on Adam's quest for justice. And let's not forget about Derek Danforth, Garnett's boss. He's a tech executive played by Josh Hutcherson. His character is this entitled millionaire who thinks he can get away with anything. If you've seen The Beekeeper, who is your favorite character? Let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about the action. This film is a thrill ride from start to finish with Jason Statham leading the charge. Statham is no stranger to action films, and he brings his A-game to The Beekeeper. The fight scenes are particularly noteworthy. When it's just Statham's character, Adam Clay, taking on the bad guys, the film really shines. Statham's physical prowess is on full display in these scenes, and the choreography is top-notch. The Beekeeper is a wild ride, but it's got its fair share of speed bumps. First off, the action scenes. Now, when it's just Statham throwing punches, the movie is on point. But when the action gets bigger, things start to get messy. It's like they're trying to cram too much into one scene, and it ends up being more confusing than exciting. You're left scratching your head, trying to figure out who's who and what's what. One of the things about The Beekeeper is that it knows what it is, an action-packed thrill ride. It doesn't take itself too seriously most of the time, which is part of its charm. You've got Statham being his usual tough guy self, over-the-top action scenes, and even some humor thrown in. It's clear that the movie is meant to be a fun, entertaining watch. But then there are times when The Beekeeper seems to forget that it's an action flick and starts taking itself way too seriously. These moments can feel out of place and disrupt the overall tone of the film. It's like the movie is trying to be a deep, thought-provoking drama, but then remembers it's an action movie and quickly switches back. This can be jarring for the audience and makes the film feel a bit disjointed. And don't get me started on the dialogue. Sometimes it's so confusing you'd think the characters are speaking in code. It's hard to follow what they're saying, and it can make it difficult to understand what's going on in the plot. And speaking of the plot, it moves so fast you barely have time to catch your breath. Important stuff happens, and then it's on to the next thing before you've had a chance to process it. It's like being on a roller coaster that's going too fast. It's thrilling, but also a bit disorienting. So, The Beekeeper. It's a wild ride. It's got all the thrills and spills you'd expect from an action movie. Statham is doing his thing, being all tough and cool, and the action scenes are pretty epic. But like any roller coaster, it's got its ups and downs. Despite the flaws, if you're a fan of those old-school action flicks, you'll probably get a kick out of The Beekeeper. It's not perfect, but it's a fun ride that's sure to bring back some nostalgia. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and enjoy the ride. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss the next review. And don't forget to watch my previous video, where I reviewed Lady Ballers, a comedy which is more controversial than funny.